leftover special cheese souffles in there, do you?
This is a wonderful house.
Thank you.
Tells me a lot about you.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
You're conservative.
That hurt.
And you're organized.
Oh, please, no more.
And you're probably honest.
Probably.
Oh, did I say that? I didn't mean it that way. Sorry.
I know somehow it just got forced out of you, huh?
Well, it's probably the way I think about most men.
Aha.
I was married for 18 years to a man I thought was honest. I knew he was honest. And I thought I knew him pretty well before we were married.
Marsha, you really don't have to go into all that.
Yes, I do. Yes, I think I do. And I'm sorry. You just volunteered to listen.
All right. I volunteer.
Where to begin? My husband. Well, first of all, he could have been awarded medals for being a good husband and a good father. And then his job began taking up much more of his time, more hours per day. Oh, meetings at night, weekends, out-of-town trips.
It's beginning to sound more and more like the same old story.
Maybe. But it was new to me. Oh, I suppose if I'd been a sharper woman, I would have caught on. But I wasn't, and I didn't. I did ask him why, if his job was taking up so much more of his time, why he didn't get the promotion he was after. And of course, he had some answer for that. Then what happened? Oh, yes, the telephone calls. They started coming in at odd hours, and he'd answer, his voice always very low, and I'd ask him who it was. And he'd say it was, oh, some fellow, some business deal. And the phone would ring, and I'd answer, and click, they'd hang up.
Let me get you some more ice in that. I don't think.
Oh, no. No, I think this is working just fine.
Well, I'm going to have another one.
I'm boring you.
No, you're not.
Well, I can't stop now.
Well, you might have guessed.
Well, what was the next terrible experience? Oh, yes, the woman. Oh, it was kind of a disappointment, really. I mean, I'd expected her to be somebody fantastic, somebody dazzling. I think of myself as being a rather attractive woman.
Well, I think you should. I think you should think of yourself as being a rather attractive woman.
Well, I finally saw them together, just by chance. And she was very plain and very ordinary and very straight. And I knew her. I mean, I didn't know her personally, but I'd seen her lots of times. At the market. Check along the check stand and guess which one's the mistress.
Marsha, you don't have to go in all this.
No, I'm almost finished. The point is, I thought he was honest. And I refused to believe that this situation even existed. I ignored the telephone calls and the whispers and the lipstick and the perfume on the clothes. I hoped that I was adding up everything wrong. But for once, my arithmetic was quite correct. And worst of all, I never understood what was wrong with me.
Well, you know, it's quite possible that it was something wrong with your husband, eh?
I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever find out what went wrong.
So, I'm probably honest, and things are probably this and probably that, eh?
Well, I think you'll admit that I just might have difficulty trusting any man.
Any man?
Well, the only standard I have to judge by is my only experience.
Hello, Joe.
Hi, Mike.
You know Mrs. Russell, don't you?
Sure, I know Mrs. Russell. How are you, Mrs. Russell?
I'm fine. How are you, Joe?
I didn't know you were tied up tonight, Mike.
Oh, well, we're just going out for dinner. Come on.
Well, I should have known.
But you had plans anyway, didn't you?
Well, plans are made to be changed. I knew what I wanted to do this evening, but it didn't work out. Look, this guy gave me a couple tickets to the fights in White River, and I figured you'd go with me.
Oh, that's great. Listen, I'm sorry I can't make it, but you'll be able to get somebody else, huh?
Sure.
Can we drop you off someplace?
No, thanks.
You live in a very nice place, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, under this rough exterior is a rough interior.
Thank you.
Well, shall we? We'll see you after a while, huh?
Have a nice time.
Here, let me get
Good night, Joe.
Night.
Tom?
Yeah?
Hi.
Hi. Well, what do we have here?
Oh, just a simple, ordinary, everyday dinner.
Looks very nice. Does food go with it?
No. Should it?
I don't know. We could try.
How about hot dogs?
Oh, sounds delicious. We got set for 2.
Well, Jill ate with the baby.
Oh.
Did you get your phone messages?
I think I've gotten back to most of them.
Well, I've got 4 burners and an oven going on in there, so why don't you sit down here, read your mail, and I'll see if anything's gone up in flames.
You go ahead. Before that smoke gets too thick, huh?
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
You know what you and your mother are? You're 2 bit snobs. You got just enough to make a splash in a small town pond.
I like your style, Norman. But then I'm not the only one, am I? Grandfather liked it enough to hand over $50,000.
Are you still going to leave at the end of the summer?
No.